we have discussed about that what is the project scheduling, and we have also discussed about the importance and the steps in the project scheduling. Now, next one is to see that what is the type of schedules. Type of schedules. So, from a project schedule, many schedules can be prepared, and among from and all these types of schedules are in from the uh, that project. So we will discuss all the types of the schedule one by one. First one is the activity schedule. So an activity schedule is a tool that is used to manage time and execute activities in a proper sequence. To prepare the activity schedules, there are certain steps which are need to follow. Steps like the project construction methodology is studied in detail, and a list of activities that constitute the project is prepared. This process is also called work breakdown structure. The object is to break down the structure into discrete construction items that are also called as activity, which is performed by a type of material and a labor. Seeing the magnified of activity and resource available at the disposal, the duration for finishing the activity is allocated. Symbolic name is also given to each activity listed, like building construction project. Such type of symbolic name can be given to all the activities. So that is the first step which is followed. The second one, by considering the various constraints, a logical relationship among the activities is established. After that, the logical relationship among the activities is need to converted into a form of an arrow diagram. For arrow diagram, in coming units I will tell about that what is the arrow diagrams, etc. After that, duration, symbolic name, and node numbering are done after rectifying any error in drawing the arrow diagram. After that, critical path, project duration, activity time, and associated floats are calculated, which is called scheduling. Okay. And next step is the earliest start and latest start, earliest finish and latest finish of each activity associated with the float is used in the resource leveling for the optimum use of resources. So for the float, we will discuss in the coming unit. And finally, a calendar or a table is prepared in which the exact working date, excluding the holidays, is mentioned for each activity. So this one is the first type of the schedule, that is the activity schedule. Second one is the material schedule. So as per the activity schedule, demand of various building material like cement, sand, brick, steel, etc. is required to accomplish the activity under consideration. The quantity are known by the estimating analysis and actual date when they will be used to know the starting date of that activity mentioned in the activity schedule. This determines their delivery date as well. Material should be delivered on a project site just before they are needed. However, a very early delivery date is not desirable because it is possible that the material may deteriorate or it may lead to the congestion of the work site where the available space is limited. So all the material required in the project with their quantities and delivery date are mentioned in this type of a schedule. So basically material schedule is basically depending upon the first type of schedule, that is the activity schedule, because for each type of activity we required a different type of a schedule or different type of a material. So depending upon that thing, we have to order the material and schedule the dates of delivery. After that, the next type of the schedule is labor schedule. So the classification of labors, their number, and the period during which they will be engaged is listed in a particular table. And this in that table, the number of labor is dependent on the quantity involved in an activity and the productivity of a labor. The information obtained from this table can be consolidated and put on monthly, weekly basis in a labor schedule. And by preparing such type of a table, we can easily get an idea about the requirement in exact number during the execution period. And by that table, we get the ample time to manage the requirement. A direct measure of a labor expenditure alone on a site can obtain easily. And this type of schedule or this type of labor schedule helps in efficient and optimum deployment of a labor force in the project. So as you know that in some of the construction work, the number of labor required in large number, and in some of the work the labor requirement is less. So depending upon the activities and depending upon the type of activity, the type of labor is hired. For example, you can understand, for whenever a building is in the construction phase, so you will not hire the putty worker or you will not hire the painter. You will only hire the painter and putty worker once the plastering work is completed. Similarly, the case for the plumbers or the electricians. For leveling and clearance of the site, you will require less number of the labor, but large number of the machinery. For earthwork, where the big sites, so you will hire the machinery and less number of the labor. So all the work can be means the labor schedule is depending upon that which type of the activity and how much number of labors are required. So depending upon that, a chart will be prepared, and also depending upon the chart, the labor will be hired and retained. After that, the next type of the schedule is equipment plant schedule, or plant and equipment schedule. So as we discussed in the labor schedule, something, a civil engineering project needs a variety of the equipment, and it is imperative of the engineer or contractor to know what type of the equipment and what number of the equipment, and also for how many days, basically exact dates for each will be needed for the purpose. Then only he may arrange them timely by hiring or purchasing or by any other mean, and work may not be delayed because of the non-availability of the equipment. So following the procedure adopted in the labor schedule, demand of the equipment for each activity listed down is furnished, and then consolidated list of equipment shown date wise, week wise, or month wise in the entire period of the construction project. So in this schedule, the date of a particular plant and equipment is also mentioned. The release date of a plant and equipment that is surplus at a project site is also mentioned in that table. And finally, the time required for doing the pre-dispatch maintenance is mentioned. So plant and equipment schedule is similar like the labor schedule. This is also completely dependent upon the type of the activity. Another type of the schedule, that is the financial schedule. So finance is very important part of any project. All the civil engineering projects are depending upon the availability and the flow of the finance. So a finance schedule shows the amount of cash flow required at different stage of construction project for the payment of material, labor, equipment, and other. It is also considered cash flow from the running bill and indicates the financials required for the successful completion of project. So in a financial scheduling, it shows that how much amount to be released to the contractor for smooth flow of construction on the site. So this type of schedule is very important. We will see that how we can prepare the financial schedule and all other types of the schedule in the coming unit. Next type of the schedule is milestone event schedule. So milestone events are very important in the proposed schedule of a project. Top management is more concerned with the schedule completion of a milestone event. Milestone event basically those events which are showing the significance uh, improvement or significant work in the project. For example, milestone events like completion of a foundation or completion of superstructure or completion of sanitary and plumbing work. So these types of the events are considered as a milestone events. So from this type of schedule of the project, the detail of milestone events are separated and reported in a schedule of milestone event. The slippage, if any, and its financial implications are closely monitored, and the impact of slippage on other activities also studied. The corrective action to be taken to bring the slipped milestone event back on track are proposed. The person responsible for correcting the slippage is also identified in such report. So this is an type of a milestone schedule. So basically, among all the activities, first of all, a milestone event is picked up, and after that, a chart is prepared. The chart that is prepared containing the information like estimated date of completion, projected slippage in the week, description of impact of the problem, action, what action need to be taken to remove the slippage, or the person which is responsible, or the latest estimated project completion date, or projected slippage in week. So these informations are there. So this is there. Now the question is that what are the advantages of project scheduling? So by studying the schedule of different type of work and alternative method, one best method we can select. Another advantage is that it gives clear idea about the man, resource, equipment, finance or milestone at a different stage of the work. Also, the time period for completion of any project can be easily estimated. Actual progress of work can be monitored. Also, interrelationship between the various activities can be easily obtained. So these are the advantages of the project scheduling. After the project scheduling, the next important thing which is done, that is the project monitoring. Now, in this topic, we will understand that how any project is monitored. So, up to now, we have discussed the concept of planning and different types of scheduling. However, the construction projects are carried out in a dynamic environment where things keep on changing. Also, there are a lot of constraints. So hence, it is absolutely necessary to monitor the project at regular intervals and adopt suitable controlling measures in order to keep the project on track. For this purpose, construction organizations have project monitoring and control system. Traditionally, the schedule, cost, and equality have been used as the control parameters for construction projects. The purpose of a monitoring system is to see that the progress, cost, and quality obtained in any project is within the agreed time schedule, agreed cost, and the agreed specification, respectively. There are many other parameters such as dispute, accidents, which are likely to monitor and control. Monitoring and control system also helps in providing feedbacks to the management on different schedules prepared in order to ensure that the project is progressing as per the schedule. In case of slips, deviations from schedule, the system helps in taking corrective and timely action. The basic objective of an monitoring system is to monitor project by measuring physical progress, cost, and profit against the target, and to help in taking corrective actions. It also provides data for preparing report for management information system. The construction work should be regularly monitored to ensure that it is in accordance with the plan and specification. Monitoring of construction involves a regular visit to site to check the quality, accuracy, and project progress of work so that the problem encountered can be investigated and resolved. Some of the problems may be unexpected and unforeseen beforehand, whereas some problems are the routine in a nature and likely to be encountered in every project with varying degree. So for any project monitoring, there are some effective requirements. The requirement is, first is appropriate training. So appropriate training and experience is required to assess the quality of work and conformity to the plan. Second is experience and knowledge. So the person who is monitoring the project have a proper experience and the knowledge of legislations to consider problem arising and determine appropriate alternatives and solutions to the design. These problems can be happen in the area of design or in the related to the rules and regulations and in the preparation of the progress reports or in the preparation of the contract documents, etc. And details of project is very important for the monitoring. So a lot of details to required for monitoring to be effective. A suitable experience can save a lot of time. There are a lot of data from the project side, and to assess that data and get a conclusion from that data, an experience is very required. So any experienced person can easily obtain the data conclusion from the given data. So this is about the project monitoring. After the project monitoring, the next topic which we have to know, that is the updating. So let us see what is updating. Updating can be defined as a planning and programming of remaining portion of an activity job by introducing the latest information available at the end of any day of work. The activities of the project must either be completed in progress or they may not have started yet. Further, the actual progress may not be according to the original schedule. Also, some of the activities that must have completed as on the day of updating may not be seen completed. Worse still, some may not have started. Some of the activity may not have achieved the required percentage of the progress that was planned on the day of updating. It is also possible that some activities that were not in original plan might have to be taken up. So this may at time bring about the change in the network logic. Network logic is basically the sequencing of the events. So all these situations requires updating of a project plan at an appropriate interval of a frequency. So this is the updating. This is a very simple thing to understand what is updating. Now the question is that when to update. So the answer is that the updating frequency depends on the nature and type of project. And contractual provision. So updating could be weekly, monthly, or every quarterly. The updating frequency may be lower during the start of the project, while more frequent updating would be need towards the completion of project. Further, if there are any major change in the objectives and scope of the project, or if the status of the stakeholder in the project has changed drastically, the project requires an immediate updating. There are certain points which we need to keep in our mind while deciding the time of updating. So points like, for short duration project, updating must be done frequently by taking into account that the latest position of execution of the project. For large duration project, the process of updating must be increased as the project is processing towards the completion. Duration of project goes on decreasing as the project progresses. And whereas there are major changes when in the project there are major changes in the duration of any activity, the updating is to be done. Also, updating is essential if there is change in estimated duration of any activity falling on the critical path. If the duration of critical activity increases, remedial measures are necessary. If the activity duration decreases, this may allow change in the project plan which were not possible previously. So these are the points which we have to keep in our mind while updating. Now, so this was the answer that when we have to update. Now for updating, we required certain amount of a data. So for updating, the data is required. First data that is required so first is that we have the information about the original network. We have the original network diagram before the updating. Second is original network calculation chart. So after the original network, we have also the written information or chart information of original network. Third information which is required, that is we have the information about the stages which are need to be at which point we have to update. The fourth information, execution position. That execution position of the project at that stage. And the last thing, that last data which is important, that is the new information that will affect the duration time of the activities that are need to be performed. So this is about the data required for updating. Now let us see that what are the different stages in the updating. Or steps in process of updating. So first step is to describe. So here describe the point in the time at which updating is to be done according to the original point. So that is need to be described. The second point is to be record. So record basically what has happened actually till the updating point. So that must be recorded. The next is the summarizes. So here the knowledge attained presented in the tabulated form, and in that table the things are given like activities, that activity is completed or not completed. If not completed, then how much time is it will take to complete. If in the progress, additional time that is required, completion required for activities yet to begin. So all this information given in the summary of the updatation chart. Also place. So place the information contained in the updating table on the original network, and it is done by assigning the time of update as the earliest concerned time for the tail event of the project. By also placing is allotting a zero time duration for all activities which have been completed. Also entering the remaining estimated duration of those activities which are in progress, and entering the estimated durations based on new knowledge of activities which are still to be commenced. After the placement, next is to perform. So calculations of earliest occurrence time and latest occurrence time, and mark these on the network known as updated network. So these are the steps which are followed in the updating. Now one more thing which is important in the management, that is to understand that what is the different management system in the construction. So according to the Lewis, the project management system consists of several systems. So I am telling about these systems in short. First one is the project planning and the design. So the planning and design system is perhaps the most important component, and it depends on the successful completion of the project. Better results can be achieved if the design of the project work is systemized. Second management system is about the project information system. So in organization, the implementation of project work, the information system must be good. A proper information always be available for the project. Third type of the project system, that is the project control system. So in this, the controlling and monitoring are the important subsets of the project implementation process. The objective of monitoring is to see deviations from the planned project performance. Another type of the system, that is the project technique and execution system. So in order to ensure the timely completion of a project, manager make uses of certain techniques and methodologies like PART and CPM. Similarly, the another type of the system, that is the project organization system. So a system approach will enables the project manager to reduce the risk which is inherent in most projects, and organization is often needed to project manager for securing the coordinated responsibility and accountability of the participants. After that, another type of the system, that is the cultural system. So the project organization operates in a culture environment. The culture of organization is the totality of the values, tradition, beliefs, and behavior of the participants of the project organization. And last, that is the human system. So human resource system is perhaps the most important aspect of the project management. Project techniques and the methodologies are of no use if the person lack adequate skill and motivation. A project manager needs very good interpersonal skills. These includes the ability to provide good leadership for project team, the ability to deal with the other constitute for needed resources, skill of motivating teams member, good communication skill, etc. So these are the management systems, or these are the system which are need to be managed at the construction phases or the construction site. There are another important thing which you must know, that is the management level. So in any construction firm, there are various levels like board of director level, president level, construction management level, project management level, functional management level. So these are the various levels which are there in the construction organization. Another information which is important, that is the management information system, that is known as the MIS. So basically, management information system is about the thing. It is basically a graphical representation of the all information which is related from the progress of the project. With the help of the MIS system or management information system, we can easily know the progress of the project. We can easily know that project is lacking at which point. We can easily know that who are the responsible persons for the delay, or what are the cause of the delay, or what amount which is need to be invested to accelerate the project. So these all things are can easily understand with the help of the MIS system. MIS system should be a such a system which can clearly give the detail to easily to all the person, whether that person having the managerial skill or not. We can public or the member of boards or the owner can easily understand with the help of that MIS system. So this is all for today's lecture.